All right, and we are live. Welcome back to the AI Chef's Kitchen. Chef Kevin, great to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's good to be here, Chef David. I think our last episode on December 22nd, I said that that would be the last one for the year, but no, we're
We
squeezing
snuck
in
one
another
in.
one. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. So, yeah, no, it's exciting. It's always good to be here. This episode, I'm excited about because just like the image behind us, we're looking ahead into 2026. Look at
Is this
that.
a Nano Banana?
Yeah, this is a Nano
Nice.
Banana Pro. I am pretty sure, Chef David, I don't know, you could disagree, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to be going in those tubes and I think maybe those are flying cars up there in 2026. But I do love how, I said create this photorealistic image, that's looking forward into 2026, and which it did. And then I said, hey, could you add the AI Chef's logo? But don't put it on a black background and do it kind of subtly. And it did. It did,
Nice.
Nano Banana. I mean, you've talked about it before, but it's doing a great job. And given I don't have, kind of graphical design capabilities, it's a stupendous job compared to what I could have done by myself. So,
You know what's funny about this image? In the 80s or 90s, if you asked an artist to draw an image of New York City in 2026, this is exactly what they would have drawn. This is exactly what this is what 2026 looks to a 1990s brain. But it's not
right,
what
right.
2026 looks like. 2026, it still looks like the 19. If you go to Manhattan, it still looks like the 90s. I mean, come on, it doesn't look like this.
No, there's not like glass walkways with
I love the
embedded
glass walkways,
light.
though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like the tubes, and yeah,
I
yeah,
love
exactly.
I love the tubes. I love because becoming a little car phobic in my old
Oh,
age. I'm not comfortable in cars anymore. They're dangerous. People drive bad. I drive bad. But in a tube,
uh-oh.
I would feel safe in a tube.
Yeah,
Where's my
especially
tubes? Give
you
me the
you need
tubes.
those. You need the AI self-driving cars. So that'll have to be on a. We'll have to focus on that on a different episode. But okay. So looking ahead into 2026, the idea was not for us to make kind of predictions, but really to kind of to gather, kind of a few forecasts or predictions from other people and talk about that. So I'm going to go to my first story if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. And I tried to pick an optimistic one. And so here this was from an article from Stanford. Whoops, wrong way. Stanford AI predicts what will happen. This came out on December 15th. Had a lot of predictions, so go find this. But I picked one, and I think that this one is very optimistic, and this would be great. This particular person, who's a professor of radiology, um, predicted that in 2026 that we may have a chat GPT moment for AI and medicine. So if you remember, like 3 years ago, chat GPT emerged, and all of a sudden is like, wow, this transformer model, this is amazing. And of course it's gotten extra amazing in the past 3 years. But, if you read this here, obviously training a model specifically on medicine, medical data sets, there's all this privacy concerns and whatever. But this person argues that, you know, that some of that has been done. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Chef David.
Oh, next story.
Sure, unless you wanted to comment on this.
I'm sorry, I got so distracted.
No, I know.
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, my only comment is that I've been waiting for this. I
Okay.
feel like it's so scary going to the doctor when they don't know what's going on. Medical science, we understand what, 5% of the human body, 10% of the human body. And as soon as we started getting ChatGPT and AI, I'm like, point it to medicine. So
Yeah, and I think that is like I think both OpenAI and Microsoft Copilot. I think that they've said that that is the number one use case that people are already using the general purpose models for is asking health related questions. But this is more about creating focus models that are really used by healthcare professionals, right? So to really not with the disclaimer like, hey,
yeah.
you know, don't trust this because I'm just an AI. This is really to be used as an effective tool to augment, doctors and other professionals. So very, very positive. Okay,
We
so
need
let's
this.
go to your story and see if it's equally as positive.
This I'm excited about. So OpenAI is going to make hardware. And at first it's
Right.
like, well, why not just put OpenAI? I already have the hardware. Just put the AI on my phone. We all have supercomputers in our pockets. Um, but they want to make it. There was a line in here somewhere, a device without all the social media nightmares of the phone. They want
Right.
to
It
make.
said
They
it
want to
wants
make
to
it,
be calmer than your
yes,
smartphone, which I think
calmer, less
which
socially
meant take
disruptive.
out the doom scrolling part and the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So it's going to be
yeah.
a dedicated device, and it's going to have to be good if you're going to, because I'm not giving up my phone, so I'm going to have two devices in my pocket. If you're going to make me carry a device, this is going to have to be designed by the best design genius who ever lived, and that's basically who they got. They
Yeah.
got Jony Ive. We pronounced that
Yeah.
right. We looked at, and if you don't know who he is, he's the guy who designed this. He's the guy who designed the iPad, all the Apple stuff. Um, Steve Jobs used to say, like Jony Ive is the only guy he could do whatever he wants at the company. No one can tell him what to do. Him and I are the only two people like this. They had a special corridor built between their two offices. Everybody knows how tough Steve Jobs was. And if Steve Jobs treated this guy like, how amazing he was, and he is amazing. And he's, he left Apple, he created his own company. He's been doing other things, and OpenAI basically bought his company for $6 billion to get him. Is my take on it. So this device is going to be it's going to be the best thing since the iPhone. I mean, it's got Johnny working on it, and it's got all his attention. $6 billion worth of his attention is on it. Um, it's going to take a couple of years, but if it was anyone else, I would say, why are they wasting my time? I don't care how good this device looks. I'm not carrying around another device. This is a non-starter for me. But because they have him, um, this is real. This is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. Like, obviously, Johnny Ive is fantastic from the design perspective. I think, when you read this, kind of the vision of this, and there's not full details, but um, this device is supposed to know everything that you've read and it's see everything that you see. And I kind of think there was a Black Mirror episode about this because I do think there was that other device, I think it was called Friend. And the billboards, like in New York and the subway, they got all defaced because people were like, no, I don't want this AI device to listen in and be my friend. And so I think that this is super exciting. I'm super excited for this. I think that the whole privacy concern and, kind of it's walking a thin line. And I think that, the device has to also be accepted by society as a whole. And it'll be interesting how, because if it knows everything that I've read and everything that I've interacted with, it means that I'm capturing some of your interactions, perhaps. And I might be fine with it capturing my interactions, but if we're having a conversation, it can't just be one-sided, and so you
Mm.
might not be cool. So I don't know how they're going to, manage that, but I'm
Well,
I'm
they
I'm
got two
super
years to
excited.
figure it out.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They got
And I'm
2 years.
not too worried about that because you shared an article with me that we're not actually covering today, but it was very interesting with trends for the next year. And one of the trends was that everyone's going to get over the idea of having AI as a friend. It's not going to be seen as a bad thing. It's not going to be socially weird anymore. There's a lot of lonely people out there. ChatGPT is easy to talk to. People are using it as a friend. And the stigma about that is going to go completely, according to the article, the prediction in the article you sent me.
Yeah.
So the idea of having 2 years from now, having a friend with you, um, I think it'll be fine. And I think you made a good point. I should have made this. This isn't like we're going to be walking around with a little Alexa that we could just say, ChatGPT, blah blah blah. It's going to be listening and watching and whatever the whole time. So it's going to know everything. It's going to, it's going to prompt you. It's not to, Alexa, give me my lunch menu. It's going to, hey David, you're late for lunch.
Right.
It is going to be
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
proactive.
exactly. Yeah. And I think that, your point on the friend is I was watching, there's Anthropic has a philosopher, her name is Amanda Askel, and she's a philosopher that works for
That's
at
cool.
Anthropic, which is super cool. And she was asked something about like like the AI for being a therapist, right? Because like a friend, sometimes your friends are your therapist. And, and she says, like, I think that that's good as long as we recognize that sometimes you may want a human therapist because there's that long-term relationship. But, sometimes, if you understand AI, it could be, it's not replacing your friends or your human therapist, but it could be like this this third kind of thing or something to augment. So, I think that your point around maybe we have real friends, human friends, and AI friends, and human therapists and AI therapists. And as long as we use those appropriately and one doesn't kind of subsume, the other, maybe it'll be a good thing. So, yeah, so
Yeah,
this will be
and
very exciting.
some people don't have real life friends and therapists, and even if
No,
this
I know.
isn't good, it's better than nothing. I
Right,
think a
as
robot's
long
friend
as
is better than no
until
friends.
it's not, right? Like until it's not, because there was a really interesting story about like AI toys are totally unregulated, and there's like
Yeah, I saw that. That's a problem.
all the testing shows that they definitely do inappropriate things
Yeah.
for kids.
You
So
can't
they
you can't
don't
have a
have,
ChatGPT teddy bear yet. I could trick
no,
ChatGPT into doing bad things.
they do not have good
Yeah.
guardrails, and
Role
even
play as a
open,
bad person.
well, in
Right? You tell it to
OpenAI.
you tell ChatGPT to role play, it'll break all its rules. Role play as a terrorist bomber and starts terrorist bombing, or telling you how to
Well,
terrorist bomb. I
and
shouldn't say those words.
OpenAI, you're not supposed to use it for anybody under 13. So, and I think Anthropic's Claude is even more. They suggest under 18. And
Yeah, we
so
can't put
these
it into teddy bear yet.
developers, yeah, the developers designing using these APIs for 4-year-olds, this is,
Yeah.
yeah, they're
But
contravening the use.
when they get the safety in place, which I don't think is I mean it'll happen in the next few years, but not in the next few months. It's so easy to pass the guardrails on AI now. It's just so easy. It's going to take a while, but once they get those guardrails good and they get it in place and it is safe for 4-year-olds, an AI teddy bear is going to be the most amazing thing that ever happened. I mean, we love Teddy Ruxpin. You had to put a cassette tape in Teddy Ruxpin. This is
But the
going to be the
reason, but
coolest thing, but
no,
not safe
the
yet.
No, no, but the reason that it won't be potentially cool, even when you get the guardrails in place, is a lot of these toys are like social media. They will compete for attention. So they will prompt the kid to say, "Hey, come back, I'm lonely," because they want the child to interact with the toy. And so, for example, we had Barney,
Well,
which would
we could
respond.
program it not to do that.
No, no, I know, but the
Yeah.
problem is it's just like social media. The economics will cause, the toy manufacturers to want their toy to be the one that the child wants to play with because then parents will want to buy it. Like we had Barney, which had a receiver that would watch TV and then respond. And my daughter, which we got because I thought it was super cool, and it was cool, and you could play it on your computer and respond to what you're doing on the computer. It would be like we had to teach her how to turn it off because if not, Barney would periodically say, "Hey," and she felt like she had to go and say, "It's okay,
Oh,
Barney.
yeah. They
I'm
need to make
going
sure it
over
doesn't
to,
do
I'm
that.
going to go play with my sister," right? And so, anyway, so, okay, but let's go to my next story because otherwise it'll be like a 3-hour stream.
Yeah.
So okay, so this was the first stream was like how AI is going to maybe according to that prediction have that Chat GPT for AI medicine. This article also from Stanford was about how AI is changing your doctor visit, and a lot of doctors are using the scribe of AI so that they can pay attention to you. My daughter is an occupational therapist. She uses this AI scribe so when she can interact with the patient, she always asks the patient if they're okay with that. But this person who writes about how it's changing says, "Hey, these are the questions that you should ask your doctor." Well, I'm going to tell you, unless you're a compliance, data sovereignty, and data retention expert, where will you be storing my intake data? A super, fair question, but I'm not sure, which third parties have access. Can I control whether my de-identified data is used for marketing? How long does the data kept in your system? I don't think like doctors can be wonderful medical professionals. This is why large organizations have, security and compliance teams, because
Yeah.
these are good questions, but the answers to them
Your doctor
are
doesn't know.
important, but they're tricky, right? So, so that's, I think and that comes back to, that OpenAI hardware. Like, it's also great, but it's like there are important questions that at least some, I don't think individual patients can ask individual doctors, but certainly, maybe that's why we need regulations around, some of this, right? Because I don't, I don't want, like, if I don't want my doctor to, even the de-identified information, I don't want them to be selling that and making money off of effectively me or their patients, right? To selling it to marketing. And I for sure don't want it to be not de-identified and then have my insurance premiums go up because of something I, said or my doctor said, right? So anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's, yeah, there's some slippery, things there, right? So, okay. So, but you can go to your article or
Oh,
I can,
sure.
okay.
This one's interesting. I'm a big hater of Facebook. I think Mark Zuckerberg's a terrible human being. I think the concept of a platform where all my friends and family are, and I can show them, pictures of my vacation was a wonderful, wonderful idea. And he turned it into this very terrible, evil thing. And I'm okay. I don't like Facebook. But this device is cool. They've been working on the Meta glasses and people making fun of it, and it's not going to happen. But this particular feature is amazing, and it'll help you hear the conversations of the people that you're looking at. You're in a crowded room, and a bunch of people are talking, and you're trying to make it out, and the AI will be able to see who you're focusing on and see their lips moving and figure out which voice is theirs and make it so you could hear that person better. And that's a valid, real, actual, helpful use of AI, not just you know, AI is cool. We have AI. This is, and some people have disabilities and stuff. This could be super, super helpful. So, and I love devices, and I love the concept of smart glasses, even though every implementation of smart glasses has been not good. I love the concept. We're going to get it right at some point, and Facebook has the money to get it right. So maybe we're on the right track now. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I like this because this is like an AI enhanced hearing aid, right? And a lot of people that have hearing problems, it is in that noisy environment where there's a lot of background noise, and allowing the visual component to, exactly as you say, Chef David, to focus on, okay, what you're looking at, that's the person that I'm going to strip out all the other conversations, side conversations that are happening. That would be super great. And if that's all it did, there would be none of the privacy issues that had come up with Google Glass and things like that. So I think that would be great. I think that
Yeah.
unfortunately, it probably will do a lot of other things like
Oh yeah.
record things and whatever. And I think that that makes people super uncomfortable depending on where you are. So
The first
this,
thing I thought
this
of is, what if instead of enhancing the conversation, enhancing the voice of the person I'm sitting next to and talking, it enhances the conversation of the person all the way across the room who doesn't think I can hear them. There's
yes,
someone
yes.
all the way across the room, and that person is saying, this, David and Kevin, I think those guys are crazy. I don't like their show. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh, is that what you think?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's a far step from this to that.
Well, I think it probably would do that because theoretically, if you look at that person at the far end of the table,
Isn't that
it
what it
should be
does?
able to augment. I don't know. So yeah.
That seems
So
like a problem to me.
this is good though. I mean, because I think that, and this is the challenge with every tool and every technology, and it's that there's good and bad, right? Which is exactly which. Let's go to this. I'm going to go to my next thing. Gartner, of course, has a lot of different predictions. But I'm going to tie this into, it said, hey, you should ask your doctor where the intake data is stored, which becomes a data sovereignty issue. And certainly, one of Gartner's predictions is that, so this is by 2027, so through 2026, right? By 35% of countries will be locked into region-specific AI platforms using proprietary contextual data. So certainly countries are now increasingly thinking about where is all, this AI interaction stored? Um, and also, is it using culturally appropriate answers and training data for, our, country, right? Because there's all kinds of different norms and different philosophies and different laws and different medical advice, east versus west versus, kind of the different continents. So certainly, this data sovereignty issue, I mean, Gartner says it's going to be a big deal. And then the same thing, this is an infotech report. Similarly, just to say, hey, it's a lot of people are saying that this is going to be a big issue. More people are going to be asking, where's the data stored? Here they said AI sovereignty is becoming a geopolitical priority as nations pursue local models and data independence, right? Because, um, what it also goes on to say is because of some of the political tensions, specifically US based, a lot, Silicon Valley, a lot of AI is homed in the US. Not every country wants to have a complete reliance on, models that are trained in or reside in the US. So data sovereignty is definitely an issue that is going to become big according to a number of people. I expect as well. It's already coming up in 2025, but I expect that that's going to be on more people's radar into 2026 for sure. What do you think, Chef David?
Oh, for sure. I think it's already just this huge concern. We've talked about, it's exciting when they build a new facility in a location. It feels like, that area is now an AI powerhouse. So I definitely think that, people are going to want their data local. They're going to want to know what's going on with their data. And especially with the political climate in some countries not trusting other countries as much as they used to.
Yes,
Yeah, this is going to be a huge issue.
there you go. Okay.
All right, on to our next one. This one excites me. Now as a video gamer, I love the concept of snowballing. When you're playing your game. Let me see. I should probably go this way to make a chart. And you get the better tools, you can get more resources. You get the better tools, you get more resources, and all of a sudden you get the tool that gets so many resources that you get so many resources. You can make so many tools and get so many resources. So your growth goes like this, and all of a sudden it goes whoosh. The exponential growth in video games, that's called snowballing. I think the
Okay.
way we get snowballing in AI is when AI writes itself. We have humans writing the code for AI, making it good, and when AI starts writing AI, it's going to get better and better and better, and we're going to have that kind of exponential growth. So I love stories about, and we did one I think last week about ChatGPT has a new, was it ChatGPT or Claude that has a new
Well, it's a model trained.
a
It's like
codex.
Codex or yeah, yeah. It's a
Yes.
model trained to help generate code.
Yep. And I think I read somewhere that at this point Claude is writing Claude. Like 90% of Claude is written by Claude or something crazy like that.
No, it did say that that was an article that I think we both read. But yeah, so
And
90% of
and
the
Google's been
code.
hot lately, so when Google says we're doing something along these lines, I'm interested, but I gotta rely on you because first of all, I'm about to cough, and second of all, you understand this stuff better than I. So can you help me out with Google Anti-Gravity? I know I'm excited about it. I know it has to do with coding.
Yeah, yeah. So if you go to switch to my share because I brought this up. So I admittedly I do not know much about this, but this is so I did. You can download for free Anti-Gravity, which is an IDE, so an interactive development environment. So basically, it is your code editor that they've built, but with AI infused and the ability to invoke all these agents and work on your entire code base, your code repository. So this is as far as this is as far as I downloaded it and I set up some configuration things, but I haven't actually done anything with it. But it is more than just like, hey, ChatGPT, or I mean, GitHub has Copilot and Cursor has, kind of these different models, whether it's Anthropic's code models or whatever. But this, Google, and there's a big write-up, thought that because of development of agents and using agents and orchestrating agents and dealing with all the code, they built this whole development environment that lets you as well do a bunch of things like up here it says open the agent manager so you can manage all these agents. Um, but that's a high level view because as I said, I haven't kicked the tires. But I think
That's
it
good.
is exciting. It is, because it is, as you say, 90% of Claude, the code that was checked in, in the last version was at least, written by Claude. And
I love
I
that.
think we're getting to the point where, um, and that was one of the predictions where vibe coding, which is just tell me what you want as a, in human language, that becomes you program in human language. Um, Vibe coding goes mainstream was somebody's prediction for 2026. And I think that that probably, you've talked in detail about how you use it to help kind of code parts of your website.
Mhm.
That what, you did it in pieces. And I think that that's how people are doing it a lot now. But I think going mainstream means, lots more of us are creating complete applications that we use or share with our teams, just through vibe coding. And I think that as part of that, for professional developers like this Google Anti-Gravity, they're bringing all these powerful tools together into something like this whole thing IDE here. So I think it just hopefully is going to mean better tools for all of us.
Absolutely. All right, was that our last story?
That was our last story, and yeah. So I'm just gonna go back to this nice, this nice image here
Love it.
as we give our final. I still wish there would be those tubes. Chef David, why can't we have
I want
flying cars?
tubes. Oh,
What year? What year are we going to have flying cars?
we were
It's
supposed to
not
have them by now.
2026. Not 2026. I know. I thought it was like the year 2000, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we're 2010. I mean, when the Jetsons was supposed to take place by now. The
I
Jetsons,
know.
I think, was set now or around
Okay.
now. I'm not sure. I'll
Okay.
look it up. But yeah, flying cars was the thing that we're supposed to get in the future, and we got a lot of stuff I had I was not expecting. Pocket-sized computers. Yeah, that we could have guessed. I don't know if we would have guessed that it would be a phone, primarily a phone. But
Right.
flying cars, that's our holy grail.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Are we going to see a lot of self-driving cars even in 2026? I think the
Oh, I
answer is
hope
no.
so. I
I
hope
think the
so.
answer is no, no. Well, because that'll, yeah, get around some of your fears. If you're
Yeah.
afraid of getting into cars because of the human factor, would you feel more comfortable in like a Waymo
I
or
definitely would. And if everyone else is in them too. It's not my driver that I'm so concerned about. It's the other
right? I
drivers in the
see.
road I get nervous about. But here's and I know we're running long, but I want your opinion on this. Okay,
Okay.
let's say I think in America we have 50,000 motor deaths a year, deaths on the highway because of bad drivers.
Right.
Or just human error. And I mean, not even bad. Just you could be driving good and just you don't see the person and you have an accident. And if that number's wrong, let's go with it now. 50,000.
Yeah.
Let's say, how good do computers have to be before we switch to them? If computer drivers can do 49,999 deaths a year, they would save one death a year, but we wouldn't do it because as soon as a computer kills someone, we're going to freak out. I'm afraid we're going to wait until it has to be zero. Till computers are perfect, till there's
Well,
zero deaths a year.
it'll never be zero.
Well,
But
until it's very, very, very low. I think as soon as we hit 50,000, we should switch to them, or 40,000.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. I mean, obviously humans are notoriously bad at understanding probability. That's why
Yes.
people think they're going to win the lottery,
Yes.
and they are afraid of
Slot
flying.
machines.
Afraid of flying on a plane where that's like demonstrably the safest form
Mm-hmm.
of travel. So, but I mean, like, here's the thing. Like when you're on, I don't know, like if you go on a snowmobile or a motorcycle, if you're on the back of a snowmobile, I'm scared shitless. Sorry,
That's
but
okay.
because it's like when I'm driving, I feel safer.
Yes.
See, that's the
Yes.
problem. Like every person thinks they're an above average driver.
Yes. Oh,
And
actually, really quick. I don't want to interrupt, but this is so funny. I did a webinar for Avixa a few weeks ago, and I put
okay.
a poll in the chat, and I said, "Are you?" And there was like 500 people. It was a really successful webinar, and I said, "Are you an above average driver or below average driver?" And 88% thought they were an above average driver, and I just loved it. I'm like, "Wow, we have a bunch of really good drivers in here, or we have some people who aren't so aware of, everyone thinks they're a good, everyone thinks they're a better average driver, and." Half of us are better than average.
Right. And so the thing is I think to your point, maybe it won't have to get to zero, but I think because all of us assume we're above average, Like we don't think we're part of that 50,000, let's say, that are getting in
Yeah.
accidents. So it has to be, I mean, maybe it doesn't have to be zero, but I think it has to get down to like a
It's going to have to
thousand.
get really
You know,
low. I
it
think
has
people
to
will
get really
say
low.
it's a weird thing. You know, if we had 20,000 deaths a year from robot car drivers, people would say that is completely you can't put robot car drivers
Right.
if they're going to kill 20,000. But if we have 50,000 deaths from human car drivers, well, you know, driving's dangerous. Got to be careful out there. Wear your seatbelt.
But the bar for new technology is always much higher
Yes.
because, people bring it up AI and customer service. Well, human customer service, I had a terrible Allstate insurance, roadside assistance, horrific, horrific experience, and it was all humans. 4 days to get my
Ooh.
car that broke down even towed. And then
Oh.
they told me, they said, well, we can't find a tow truck driver, so we suggest you call around. I'm
What?
like, that's roadside assistance? You waste 4 days of my life with a million calls, a million, and then you tell me. So once again, but everybody says, I mean, I would have wanted to deal with AI because it would have, right?
Right?
But yeah, but I think yes, the bar for new technology, whether it's on meeting summarization, customer service, is always exceptionally high. And I think on flying cars, it will be super high, and on AI,
Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm glad you mentioned meeting summaries. That's a perfect analogy. When meeting summaries first came out, there were a bunch of people who were like, "There's a mistake in mine." I'm like, when you have a person do a meeting summary for you, are there no mistakes? You know, I can't accept these AI meeting summaries. They have mistakes in them.
yeah.
Don't all meeting summary? Every meeting summary has mistakes in it. Okay, so I'm happy with my human meeting summary assistant when it makes mistakes, but if I have an AI meeting summary, it better be perfect, or I'm not going
Right.
to use it.
There you go. See, the bar is always
The
higher.
bar is
So there
so
you
much
go.
higher. I don't understand why, but you're right.
Well, I think that's just human nature because you're used to what's working and you have mitigation strategies for, double checking whatever the meeting summaries or, once because you're in control driving a car, you feel that you could somehow avoid, an accident even when you couldn't. So, but there you go. So 2026, a lot of optimism, a lot of the same, issues that we're dealing with in 2025. Sadly, no flying cars,
The
but
flying cars.
maybe an AI medicine, a ChatGPT
Yes.
AI medicine moment, which would be fantastic.
I'm really hoping that AI gets pushed hard into medical because I'm getting older. I'm having more medical issues. I want them fixed, and there's just so much we don't know still in medicine, and we put
Yeah.
so much, our best people, like brilliant people, for the last hundreds of years, have been studying the human body so hard, and it's so mysterious. I mean, forget about our brains. We don't understand how our hands work. It's crazy. So yeah, get AI all up in that.
There you go. Well, I think we'll leave it. That's a great way to leave it. Looking forward to 2026. And Chef David, thank you for all your AI chef tips in 2025. And I'm sure we're going to have lots more into 2026.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun year for us.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week.